Dave Hollis, dead, lifestyle guru and former Disney distribution exec, was 47. He led the studio's theatrical distribution operation from 2011 to 2018, playing a key role in the Avengers series and the relaunch of the Star Wars franchise. Dave Hollis, former president of worldwide distribution at Disney's movie studio and motivational author, has died. He was 47. A rep for Hollis' family said he died peacefully Saturday night at his house in Austin. No cause of death was provided, but his family said he had been hospitalized recently for heart problems. A charismatic executive, Hollis led theatrical distribution at Disney from 2011 to 2018 during an unprecedented winning streak for the studio. He played a key role in the relaunch of Star Wars franchise as well as Avengers, Frozen, and Ryan Coogler's blockbuster superhero film Black Panther. During Hollis' tenure, Disney experienced unprecedented box office growth in 2016, becoming the first studio to cross the 7 billion mark in global ticket sales in a given year. Hollis surprised many in 2018 when he announced he was leaving Disney to relocate his family to Texas and run his then-wife Rachel Hollis' company, home of podcasts, conferences, and TV shows. Rachel Hollis is an author, motivational speaker, and social influencer. He revealed in his 2020 self-help book, Get Out of Your Own Way, that he had found himself morose, at odds with his wife, and drinking too much towards the end of his Disney tenure. There is something unbelievably liberating about owning the truth of my experience, he told The Hollywood Reporter at the time. The following year, he wrote a second self-help book, Built Through Courage, Face Your Fears to Live the Life You Are Meant For, that chronicled his difficult public divorce and personal reckoning. He most recently published a children's book, Here's to Your Dreams, and had a podcast, Rise Together. He was a large part of an online fitness and transformation community with his partner Heidi Powell called Get Fit. Hollis is survived by his sons, Jackson, Sawyer, and Ford, and his daughter Noah. The Walt Disney Company. The Walt Disney Company, known as Disney, is an American multinational mass media and entertainment conglomerate that is headquartered at the Walt Disney Studios complex in Burbank, California. Disney was founded on October 16, 1923 by the brothers Walt and Roy O. Disney as Disney's Brothers Studio. It also operated under the name Walt Disney Studio and Walt Disney Productions before changing its name to the Walt Disney Company in 1986. Early in its existence, the company established itself as a leader in the animation industry with the creation of the widely popular character Mickey Mouse, who first appeared in Steamboat Willie, which used synchronized sound to become the first post-produced sound cartoon. The character would go on to become the company's mascot. After becoming a major success by the early 1940s, the company diversified into live-action films, television, and theme parks in the 1950s. Following Walt Disney's death in 1966, the company's profits, especially in the animation division, began to decline. Once Disney shareholders voted Michael Eisner as the head of the company in 1984, it became overwhelmingly successful during a period called Disney Renaissance. In 2005, under the new CEO Bob Iger, the company started to expand and acquire other corporations. Bob Chapek became the head of Disney in 2020 after Iger's retirement. Chapek was ousted in 2020 when Iger was reinstated as CEO. Since the 1980s, Disney has created and acquired corporate divisions to market more mature content that is typically associated with its family-oriented brands. The company is known for its film studio division Walt Disney Studios, which includes Walt Disney Pictures, Walt Disney Animation Studios, Pixar, Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, 20th Century Studios, 20th Century Animation, and Searchlight Pictures. Disney's other major business units include division in television, broadcasting, streaming media, theme park resorts, consumer products, publishing, and international operations. Through these divisions, Disney owns and operates the ABC Broadcast Network, cable television networks such as Disney Channel, ESPN, Freeform, FX, National Geographic, as well as publishing, merchandising, music, and theater divisions. Direct-to-consumer streaming services such as Disney Plus, Star Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Hotstar, and Disney's parks, experiences, and products, which included several theme parks, resort hotels, and cruise lines around the world. Disney is one of the biggest and best-known companies in the world and has been ranked number 53 on the 2020 Fortune 500 list of biggest companies in the United States by revenue. Since its founding, the company has won 135 Academy Awards, 26 of which have been awarded to Walt. The company has been said to have produced some of the greatest films of all time, as well as revolutionizing the theme park industry. Disney has been criticized for supposed plagiarism, depicting racial stereotypes in the past, and both including and lacking LGBTQ-related elements in its films. The company, which has been public since 1940, trades on the New York Stock Exchange with ticker symbols DIS and has been a component of the Dow Jones Industrial Average since 1991. In August 2020, just under two-thirds of the stock was owned by large financial institutions. Walt Disney and his friend animator Ub Iwerks had founded a film studio named Logogram Studio in Kansas City. Iwerks and Disney made a short film entitled Alice's Wonderland that depicted child actor Virginia Davis interacting with animated characters. In 1923, soon after the short was made, Logogram Studio went bankrupt, but the film later became a hit after New York film distributor Margaret J. Winkler purchased it. Disney signed a contract to create 6 series of Alex comedies with an option for 2 more 6-episode series. Before signing the contract, Disney decided to move to Hollywood, Los Angeles to join his brother Roy O. Disney, who had tuberculosis. Walt and Roy founded Disney Brothers Studio on October 16, 1923 to produce the films. Walt later persuaded Iwerks and Davis's family to move to Hollywood as well. In January 1926, Disney Studios on Hyper-Owned Street was completed, and Disney Brothers Studios' name was changed to Walt Disney Studio. After producing several Alice films for the next 4 years, Winkler handled the role of distributing films to her husband Charles Mintz. In 1927, Mintz asked for a new series of films to be made under Universal Pictures. In response, Walt created his first series of fully animated films which featured the character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Walt Disney Studios created 26 films with Oswald in them. In 1928, Walt wanted a larger fee for his films, but Mintz wanted to reduce the price. Soon after, Walt discovered Universal Pictures owned the intellectual property rights to Oswald, and Mintz threatened to produce the film without him if he did not accept a reduction in payment. Walt declined, and Mintz signed 4 of Walt Disney Studios' primary animators to start his own studio. Iwerks was one of the only top animators to remain at Disney Brothers. Walt and Iwerks replaced Oswald with a mouse character that was originally named Mortimer Mouse, but Walt's wife urged him to change the name to Mickey Mouse. In May 1928, the studio made the silent films Plain Crazy and The Galloping Gaucho as test screening for the new character. Later that year, the studio produced its first sound film, the third short in the Mickey Mouse series, Steamboat Willie, which was made using synchronized sound, becoming the first post-produced sound cartoon. The sound was created using Power's Cinephone system, which used Lee DeFrost's phonophone system. Power's distribution company distributed Steamboat Willie, which became an immediate hit. In 1929, the company successfully re-released 2 earlier films with synchronized sound. After the release of Steamboat Willie at the Colony Theater in New York, Mickey Mouse became an immensely popular character. Disney Brothers Studio made several cartoons featuring Mickey and other characters. In August 1929, the company began making the Silly Symphony cartoon series with Columbia Pictures as the series distributor because the Disney Brothers felt they were not receiving their share of profits from Powers. Powers ended his contracts with Iwerks, who later started his own studio. Carl W. Stalling played an important role in starting the series, and theater manager Harry Wooden requested permission to start a Mickey Mouse Club at his theater, the Fox Dome, to produce attendance. Walt agreed, but David E. Doe started the first such club at Elsinore Theater before Wooden could start his. On December 21, the first meeting for the club at Elsinore Theater was attended by around 1,200 children. On July 24, 1930, Joseph Conley, president of King Features Syndicate, wrote to the Disney studio and asked the company to produce a Mickey Mouse comic strip. Production started in November, and samples were sent to the King Features, which approved them. On December 16, 1930, Walt Disney Studios' partnership was recognized as a corporation with the name Walt Disney Productions Limited, which had a merchandising division named Walt Disney Enterprises and subsidiaries called Walt Film Recording Company Limited and Lyle Realty and Investment Company, the latter of which managed real estate holdings. Walt and his wife held 60% of the company, and Roy owned 40%. The comic strip Mickey Mouse debuted on January 13, 1930 in New York Daily Mirror, and by 1931, the strip was published in 60 newspapers in the US and 20 other countries. After realizing releasing merchandise based on the character would generate more revenue for the company, in New York, a man asked Walt for the license to put Mickey Mouse on writing tablets he was manufacturing for $300. Walt agreed, and Mickey Mouse became the first licensed character. In 1933, Walt asked Kay Carmen, the owner of Kansas City Advertising Film, to run Disney's merchandising, and Carmen agreed. Within a year, Carmen had 40 licenses for Mickey Mouse, and within 2 years, he had made $35 million worth of sales. In 1934, Walt said he had made more money from merchandising of Mickey Mouse than from the character's films. Dave Hollis, former Disney distribution exec's last words before he died. "I meant," he said bitterly, "what is there in the world that truly makes living worthwhile?